Hey everyone, it's Travis with the Verosint team, here to talk to you about our identity threat detection response platform. So before we get into the actual demo, I want to review why Verosint's here. Verosint's here to ultimately prevent account compromise and give fast and efficient detection and remediation to advanced identity security threats. And we do this by detecting those advanced threats like session hijacking, credential stuffing, account takeovers, and more, giving you tooling to investigate efficiently and quickly, remediate effectively through easy remediation tools built directly into the Verosint platform. And all of this is easy to deploy for most situations in 60 minutes or less with no agent required. So how does Verosint work? At a high level, Verosint takes identity events from your identity provider and streams them into our continuous threat detection AI, where we look for indicators of risk, attack, or compromise. So things that are exploits that could be taken advantage of on an account, active attacks, or known compromises on an account. And then make that data available for real-time threat response, either through a post-authentication threat response playbook or a pre-authentication real-time adaptive workflow engine directly in your login flow. And then we can make all this data available to you in your SIM tool of choice, Splunk, Datadog, and others. Okay, so let's move over to the platform itself. So this is the AI Insights page, and you consider this the inbox for things that you want to care about related to threats being detected in your workspace. So we'll take a look first at maybe one of these account takeover events. Let's find one to pick on here. Okay, so here's one where, as a part of the, February 19th credential stuffing attack, we see this account was taken over. If we wanted to learn more about this particular account, we provide this investigative tooling where you can see the event that happened where this account was taken over. You can dig deep into the risk score around this particular event, the anomaly score where you can see each broken down item that contributed to this anomaly score of the dozens and dozens of features that go into the anomaly behavioral scoring that happens on every single event. If any impossible travel occurred, in this case, pretty significant impossible travel from London to Ho Chi Minh, and then all of the information that we enrich every event with as it comes in the front door through our threat detection process. If we wanted to learn more about the attack this was a part of, we could click on this credential stuffing attack. This one, in this case, is a fairly small attack. You can see all the details about that, including the compromised accounts. If we want to look at a larger attack, we'll flip over to our credential stuffing attacks here, and we can see one that happened across a little over 3 million accounts. And a couple interesting things to note here, right? We can show you the rate, size, and scope of this attack. You can see it started and stopped a few times. The fact that they used, a little over 800,000 IPs to make 3 million attempts, so they were not reusing IPs very frequently. This is to stay under traditional kind of brute force detection models. It indicates a more sophisticated threat actor. You can also see they were spreading their IPs across, let's see, thousands of ISPs, again, making this a harder threat to detect. And then ultimately we show here at the bottom, all of this attack resulted in these accounts being attempted and failed, and then 4 accounts being taken over, which I can see down here. Okay, so the final thread I want to kind of dive into is session hijacking, session sharing. And this is a threat that is particularly interesting because it's one of the fastest growing threat vectors, because it is very good at circumventing the traditional prevention mechanisms that most organizations have in their business today, where they are, if you steal a session token or cookie after the login process has occurred, in most situations that's good without any sort of login or MFA required for a few days, few weeks, in some cases months, depending on the organization and their security settings. And it is a huge risk vector. And it's traditionally very hard to detect because it doesn't go back to your identity provider to reauthorize the session for a long time. And so it can fly under the radar. We can detect this. And so you can see here we've got a number of people that have done session sharing. We'll click on this top one here, and we can show all the statistics about why we believe this is session sharing. So you can see, very abnormal for a session to be shared across 2 devices, let alone 8 devices and 47 IPs across 11 countries. You can see the concurrent activity across multiple IPs, which is another big red flag, and then lots of device changes and significant ones at that. So we'll look at this one here, and we can go into account intelligence, where we can see a larger overview of any given account. So this particular account, we've got all its recent activity, including kind of success versus failure versus anomalous event activity, its circadian rhythm, where we keep track of the behavioral rhythm from a time of day access standpoint for this given account, and we'll mark anything red that's considered highly outlier. The location history and how the access patterns from each of those locations breaks down from a success and failure. And then any users that this particular account is also connected to through our signal print graph. And then we can show all the sessions. So we talked about that one session already, but these are all the sessions that Verosint's aware of for this given account, with access to all the session detail information there. So let's go back to look at one of these accounts to showcase the other thing here. For supported providers, we have the ability to do threat response directly from this account intelligence page. So you can, after investigation, decide I want to revoke all sessions for this user, which logs them out immediately. I want to suspend this user so that they're logged out, but they also can't log back in until you unsuspend them so that they can't regain access. This is part of the kind of kill and quarantine or remediate process for identity events. We make that super easy, available right here in the platform without having to go somewhere else to do it. And we'll talk to your identity provider to make sure that that's taken care of. So obviously this is one user's view. We can click here to go to see the full event history for this particular user. But that lets me talk a little bit about the fact that Explorer here is where all those identity events that we consume from your identity platform end up and are made visible. And you can see, any of these events have their panel with all of the detailed information about what's going on. We talked about the risk and anomaly score and all of the data that's included. But this, I want to point out, goes across multiple accounts if you want. So this filtering system lets you filter on all of the different parameters and data dimensions that we track and enrich with across any account in your workspace. And we even have a variety of quick filters here for you to use to get, just to explore and see if there's something beyond the kind of threat inbox that we provide that you want to go look for. So in this case, I'm just looking up dormant accounts. This is a signal we track on accounts that have been dormant for at least 90 days and then suddenly awake, another kind of risk vector for many businesses. So I could easily search for dormant accounts and flip the sort of this column by anomaly score so that I can see the highest anomaly accounts highest anomaly events first for any dormant accounts, and immediately click in and see the different information about each of those accounts. Okay, so we talked about the post-authentication stuff that we can do, right? Revoke all sessions and suspend users. We also have the ability to do things pre-authentication or in line in the authentication flow. So let me pull up one of these workflows here, which is how we do that. This is that adaptive workflow engine. And the way the adaptive workflow engine works is it allows you to design a set of rules using the corpus of data that Verosint has available for all of the interactions and events we've seen, accounts we've seen, and use that data to help drive the user journey for that user through the kind of authentication flow. So you can say, hey, in this case, in the case that the IP risk is greater than or equal to 75, I want you to deny. In the case that it's a disposable or generic or invalid email address, I want you to challenge and force an MFA. So I'll open one of these up here just so you can see a little bit about how this configuration works. But we've got a variety of actions. The 4 default ones: allow, challenge, deny, and proof, which I'll get to in a second. and then you can customize beyond that. And then you can also add any amount of filtering you want. This is the same experience as we saw in Explorer. Anything that's available there is also available in the workflow engine to drive a particular outcome. So I said I'd talk about proofing. So proofing is a kind of special outcome we provide that allows you to drive the user journey towards a document or knowledge-based proof instead of a traditional MFA method. If you want something we commonly see people using either in kind of like high impact change events for an account, right? Like, so they're going to try and change their password or MFA device, and so you want to be really, really sure that it's them, or in a registration flow. Okay, and that kind of brings us back to the beginning, where I want to just kind of reiterate the fact that Verosint's here to ultimately prevent account compromise, and in the event that there is some sort of account compromise, reduce the mean time it takes to remediate that account compromise, resulting in a big reduction in data exfiltration, data breaches, your company's name at the top page of a newspaper, for a data breach. And we do that by detecting advanced, the most advanced sophisticated threats out there, right? The session hijacking, the account takeovers, and sophisticated stuffing attempts. We didn't talk about all of the threats we offer, but it's ever growing. You can see some of them on the left-hand side here. We give you the tooling to investigate and remediate quickly and efficiently, right? Go see all the data you need to see in around the account and be able to have one-click remediation, either post-auth or an adaptive workflow built directly into your authentication system. And on top of all of that, it's super easy to deploy. Works with your existing identity infrastructure and integrates really quickly. Thanks for your time.